Welcome to Israelites Doctrine for Dummies, where we break down the truth of the Bible so simple, even a child can understand it. Your charity helps generate the lessons needed to seal the chosen before the destruction. When knowledge has no charity. 1 Corinthians 13:1, the topic of the verse. Paul is showing that spiritual gifts, speech, knowledge, and outward religious power are worthless if they are not governed by charity/love. In context, 1 Corinthians 12 speaks about the body and gifts. 1 Corinthians 13 explains the spirit that must rule those gifts. 1 Corinthians 14 returns to tongues and prophecy. Paul is not saying tongues or speech are evil. He is saying that speech without covenant love becomes empty noise. 1 Corinthians 13:1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Though I speak with the tongues of men. This refers to human languages, eloquence, and powerful speech. A man may be able to speak Hebrew, Greek, Aramaic, Latin, or any other language. He may be persuasive, educated, and impressive. Among the scattered Israelites, language mattered because many Israelites were dispersed among Greek-speaking nations. Paul deals often with the unity of Judean Israelites and Greek-speaking Israelites, especially when he speaks of Jew and Greek being brought into one body. Your uploaded study on neither Jew nor Greek makes this same point. The New Testament reunites Judean Israelites and the dispersion into one body, with Jew and Greek referring to Israelite groups rather than separate racial peoples. So Paul's point is this: even if an Israelite could speak every language needed to reach the scattered sheep, his speech would be spiritually empty if he lacked charity toward his brethren. Example, a teacher may explain prophecy, covenants, tribes, Greek words, and history with great skill. But if he uses that knowledge to mock, crush, divide, or exalt himself over his brethren, then his speech is only noise before God and of angels. This phrase raises the speech to the highest possible level. Paul is saying, even if my speech were not merely human, but heavenly, majestic, and angelic, it would still profit nothing without charity. Angels means messengers. The phrase can point to heavenly beings, but it also carries the idea of exalted, powerful, messenger-like speech. Paul is using a strong comparison. Even the highest form of speech is worthless if the heart behind it is wrong. Example, a man may speak with great confidence, sounding as though he carries divine authority. He may quote scripture smoothly and appear deeply spiritual, but if he has no patience, mercy, humility, or concern for the flock of Israel, then his speech is not life-giving. It becomes religious noise. Have not charity. Charity here is not merely giving money or doing kind acts. It is covenant love expressed through faithfulness, patience, mercy, truth, and service. In this chapter, Paul will describe charity as patient, kind, not proud, not easily provoked, not rejoicing in iniquity, but rejoicing in the truth. In an Israelite-centered reading, charity is especially important because Paul is dealing with a divided body. The Corinthians had problems with pride, factions, spiritual competition, lawsuits, disorder, and misuse of gifts. Some wanted to appear greater than others. Paul shows them that the true measure of spiritual maturity is not how loudly someone speaks, how many gifts he claims, or how much knowledge he has, but whether he walks in love toward the covenant people. Example, if one brother understands the identity of Israel, the covenants, the promises to the fathers, and the gathering of the scattered tribes, but he despises weaker brethren, he has missed the spirit of the doctrine. Truth must be joined with charity. I am become as sounding brass. Sounding brass refers to a loud, hollow, metallic sound. It attracts attention, but it has no true spiritual substance. Paul is saying that a gifted speaker without charity may sound impressive, but inwardly he is hollow. Example: a person may preach loudly about Israel, judgment, prophecy, and the kingdom, but if his message is driven by pride, hatred, bitterness, or self-glory, then he is like a loud piece of metal. He makes sound, but he does not edify. Or a tinkling cymbal. A cymbal makes a sharp, clashing sound. It can be loud and noticeable, but by itself, it does not carry a full message. Paul compares loveless speech to clashing noise. Example: someone may constantly debate Scripture, correct everyone, and win arguments, but if he never builds up the brethren, never restores the fallen, never comforts the weak, and never walks humbly, he is only making noise. The deeper meaning. Paul is correcting spiritual pride. The Corinthians valued outward gifts, especially tongues and public speech. But Paul tells them that gifts are not the highest evidence of faithfulness. Charity is greater than performance. A man may have knowledge without charity, eloquence without charity, language skills without charity, prophetic understanding without charity, zeal for Israel without charity, correction without charity. But without charity, all of it becomes empty. Practical examples. Example 1. The gifted speaker. A man can explain Scripture powerfully and make people listen, but if he humiliates sincere brethren, refuses correction, and uses doctrine to make himself superior, then his speech is sounding brass. Example 2. The language expert. A person may know Greek and Hebrew and expose mistranslations. That can be useful, but if he uses language study only to attack and boast, he has missed Paul's point. The truth should serve the body, not glorify the teacher. Example 3. The Israelite teacher. A teacher may rightly show that the promises, covenants, and redemption belong to Israel, but if he lacks mercy, patience, and brotherly love toward the scattered sheep, then he is not walking in the spirit of the message. Example 4. The online debater. Someone may post Scripture all day and defeat opponents in arguments, but if his spirit is hateful, arrogant, and careless with people, then his words become a clanging cymbal. Example 5. The correct rebuke. Even correction must have charity. Paul does not forbid rebuke. He himself rebuked the Corinthians sharply, but correction should aim to restore order, truth, and righteousness, not to destroy for personal satisfaction. Connection to 1 Corinthians 12. Right before this chapter, Paul says the body has many members, but one body. In 1 Corinthians 12:13, he says, "For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles." From the Israelite doctrine perspective, Jews and Greeks Gentiles, in this context, concerns Judean Israelites and Greek-speaking dispersed Israelites being gathered into one body. That is why charity is essential. The scattered body cannot be restored while members are competing, boasting, and despising one another. So 1 Corinthians 13:1 is not random poetry. It is Paul saying, "You may have gifts, speech, and knowledge, but if you do not love the body, you are not helping the body." Simple summary. 1 Corinthians 13:1 teaches that even the most powerful speech is worthless without charity. A man may speak many languages, sound spiritual, teach deep doctrine, or appear gifted, but if he lacks covenant love toward his brethren, his words are only noise. The verse warns against spiritual pride. The true servant of God does not merely speak truth. He speaks truth with charity, humility, patience, and concern for the restoration and edification of Israel. Shalom to the students of the lost tribes. Please support this work on Patreon and request a personal commissioned video lesson. A lesson can be produced for you on the topic you want, with scriptural breakdown and understanding. By supporting this work, you help build and strengthen the ministry. Your support helps with the time, study, editing, and materials needed to produce these teachings. Support the ministry. Request your lesson. Grow in knowledge. Patreon. Patreon.com/C/School of the Lost Tribes. Student, you have no excuse not to study. The Most High has called you, so do not ignore His call. If you do, you may lose the opportunity for salvation from captivity. Email me at schooloftheLostTribes@gmail.com, and I will answer your questions and send you a lesson on the subject. Shalom. Those who follow the covenant of charity and support the teacher of Yahweh are encouraged to give freely. Please donate. My duty is to compel the descendants of the lost tribes to study and to endure unto the end. You must study, because if you do not study, you will not know Yahweh. Study and worship are the keys to the knowledge of Yahweh, by which the servants of God are sealed in their foreheads before destruction comes. Without that knowledge, you will lose salvation. Sign up by email at schooloftheLostTribes@gmail.com. WhatsApp classes are available. Dear student, I write to you in sincerity and with concern for your walk. If you do not have a true teacher to serve under, you will not gain the full mystery of the kingdom of heaven. A man cannot come into deep understanding by his own pride, nor by tasting from many tables. The true knowledge of Yahweh is learned through order, humility, service, consistency, and charity toward the truth. If you eat from the table of Yahweh, that means you must learn from the teacher He has set over you. But if you are not consistent in charity toward that knowledge, then it shows that you never truly invested in Yah. Instead, you invested in worldly knowledge, worldly approval, and worldly gain. Because of that, the true knowledge of Christ can be removed from you, and you can fall back into spiritual sleep and be cast out. If you are ashamed to promote this truth, or ashamed to be known as an Israelite, then you are not fit to carry this message. What is hidden in your heart will be exposed. The truth is not for the ashamed, nor for those who want the world's acceptance more than Yahweh's approval. If you are afraid of death, afraid of suffering, or afraid of losing your life for the truth, then you are not yet standing in the courage Christ requires. Christ does not call men to cowardice, but to faithfulness. The fearful draw back, but the true disciple stands firm. To shrink back from the truth is to place yourself against the will of God. Therefore, wake up, be steadfast, be faithful, invest in Yahweh, not in this world. Hold fast to the knowledge given to you, walk in charity, remain under true teaching, and do not let the mystery of the kingdom slip from your hands. Only those who endure, who are loyal, and who are not ashamed will remain. You no longer have an excuse. If you're not planning to teach your family and your people, don't buy this book. This is not a book of personal opinion. It is a precision tool, crafted from the words of Yahweh, for one nation only, the scattered tribes of the children of Jacob. For generations, the truth of who we are has been buried beneath the weight of deception. False doctrines have sold a universal message that never belonged to the other nations, stripping the covenants of their rightful heirs and misleading the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This book is not the message. It is the delivery system. Like a box of sharpened blades, every page is designed to cut through the lies that have enslaved our people in spiritual bondage. This is for those who have ears to hear and whose bloodline traces back to the patriarchs. The scribe is not the author. Yahweh is. These are His words, preserved and compiled for His chosen. Go to Amazon, get it, use it, teach your household, teach your people. The blades are ready. The knife you need, crafted for your endurance and trials from the Most High, is almost here. This tool is forged to cut through the deceptions that have smothered the truth for generations, preparing you for sealing before the destruction. Title: The Curse of the Lost Tribes, for the Deaf, Dumb, and Blind Israelites, by Scribe of the Most High. Not a commentary, not a sermon. This is a scriptural toolbox, crafted for the lost sheep of Israel, those judged, scattered, and blinded by false doctrines. Christianity taught you lies. This book gives you the blades of truth to tear them down. Compiled by a scribe, authored by Yahweh, the God of Israel. Built for one people only, the descendants of Jacob. Use this tool, wake up, return, your time is near.